hey.
Oh, hi everyone.
Wow. Welcome to this routine checkup. That's what we're calling it, right?
Yeah, routine checkup.
Yeah,
We're checking up on people's routines.
that's right. Because something's going on out there. There's a big virus. We're all trapped in our homes, and it sucks.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair summary, right?
we are trapped in our homes, and it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it sucks.
Yeah, it
Do you not
sucks.
think it sucks?
Well, I've been doing all right. I don't mind so much. I do a lot of the editing and video stuff, and I haven't had time to do it while I was at work. But now I am currently out of work, waiting on my Trump bucks to roll in, and
It's true.
so yeah, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I guess you'll come out of this with a lot more skills, better at what you're doing.
Yeah.
I
So
won't.
no, I probably will. You probably will not. You
I have
probably.
a crappy Chromebook that can't even open most of the websites to apply for government benefits. So
Oh boy.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Well, and right now it's hard to tell if that's on your end or their end.
Yeah, I know. I know. So this is a show where we're gonna bring some people on. Today we have four guests, all from different parts of the country, to talk about what's going on in their area, how they feel about it. We got some questions we're gonna ask everybody, and we want them all to bring in some recommendations for what they've been doing to stay busy and an idea or a story that they think may not be getting enough attention. Today's guests are going to be Hannah, Trey, Ryan, and Paisley, and then you have Clay and myself. Um, Clay, how is your? Do you feel confident about getting that check on time? You feel
On
like it's coming?
time? No. I am mildly confident that it will come eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I it could be late. I've got. I'm. I'll be good for without getting any income for another month. If I had to, but after that things will look a little dicey.
Yeah,
Um,
that's an argument I was having with someone last night, which was they were upset that Georgia hasn't declared a lockdown yet.
mhm.
And I was trying to explain to him. I said Georgia is a pretty poor state, uh, and when you have people like when the majority of the folks are alone or they live paycheck to paycheck, an hourly wage,
Mhm.
you kind of the choice you're presenting them is either starve to death or potentially catch a virus that might kill you.
Unless they get unemployment plus the government stimulus and they end up making more money on unemployment than they would have working full time,
That's
which
true.
which will be the case for me.
Yeah, I mean, have you gotten your unemployment determination yet?
Determination? Yeah, I'm getting
Like where they tell you if you got it?
I'm getting unemployment.
Oh man, everything's coming out roses for you, huh?
Yeah, it's doing all right.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to find out on my end.
Well, I started preparing for this back in January, and I tried to tell people that it was going to be a big deal then, but everyone, including the uh, Mr. Fauci of the CDC, was saying it's not going to be a big deal for Americans. And I thought, disagree. I'm going to press X to doubt. And I tried to tell people that I cared about, hey, you should buy some non-perishable food. The grocery stores might start running short on stuff, so whatever you might need. And hope I maintain hopeful that it clears up and that we can all get back to our lives eventually. But I have planned for the worst because who knows what will happen actually.
Yeah, that's what's the most distressing to me is that no one has told us what the outcome is, or like what the optimum outcome we're looking for is, or when we know this is over. Um, Although the other day Fauci said
He
that
did say something.
he said that when this is over, when can we get back to our lives? When there's no new infections and no new deaths. It's like okay,
Well, keep
well,
those Trump bucks rolling.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that plan's not going to work. So,
Who is this?
have we got anyone in the waiting room yet?
We do, in fact. Are you ready to bring him in?
Yeah, let's bring him in.
All right.
Oh,
Hello.
hey.
Hello. Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
your
we're getting
audio.
there.
Oh, the audio is connecting still. I don't know.
Well, this is fun. See, everything is always if you look at everything like a test show, it all makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, I think we might be able to hear you now. Can you hear us?
Testing my sound, stand by.
Yes.
Yeah, we got
We
you
are
now. We can hear
here.
you. And then the question is, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you
Okay.
now.
Okay, great. Hey, Hannah, how are you?
Doing great. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Hannah, you're down in Texas, right?
That's right. Yeah, I'm here in Dallas.
And what's going on in Dallas? Is Texas in a lockdown?
Yeah, that's right. So we just got a statewide lockdown order in the past week, I believe. Dallas County has been under a stay-at-home order um, for about 2 weeks now, 2.5. It's been a while.
And what are the specifics of that order? That you can only go outside for medical reasons or groceries?
Yeah, so basically, you're supposed to stay home unless you're going out for groceries or medication, or you're getting exercise, walking dog, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are mostly complying with that from what I've seen. Like the streets are basically empty.
Yeah. And have you seen? Are they doing any sort of enforcement yet? Are they
No,
making sure people aren't out?
no, I don't think so. The Dallas County Police Department said that they're doing like basically a three strikes enforcement. So they're really focusing on people, like encouraging parties or gatherings or whatnot. They seem to be, they don't seem to be interested in prosecuting people for it right now.
Yeah. Have they done the thing? So where I live in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Trenton, and New York famously have started letting people out of jails. Have they done that down there so they're not housing all these germ farms?
I haven't. I'm not sure if Dallas County's really doing that. Texas, I think, would. I would expect Texas to be one of the last states to just start letting people out, just because its policy direction has really been aligned against
Yeah.
that. But, yeah, I honestly haven't really followed the jail situation that closely.
I have. That's that's why I'm glad that Pennsylvania has strong laws protecting the Second Amendment
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's the Trenton's right across the river from me.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Yeah.
so how do you feel about everything that's going on? Do you feel confident? Do you feel nervous? Do you feel like it's the end of days?
No.
Well, that's good.
No, we've been expecting novel influenza virus to hit the U.S. for years now. I mean, researchers were warning folks about this 15 years previously. Basically, as soon as SARS came out, we knew it was coming. I think we prepared as much as we can, but we're really looking at the public health equivalent of a Pearl Harbor or 9/11. But I think we'll be okay as long as we follow public health authorities' recommendations, stay home, wash your hands.
Mhm.
Don't
Just
throw
do a fire-
parties, that sort of thing.
What's that?
I said, don't throw big parties, that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, no large family gatherings, all that fun stuff. I think we're just biding our time until we have widespread testing available and hopefully a vaccination soon.
Yeah. Have you been
Yeah.
to the grocery store recently?
Yeah. So we are hitting the grocery store up every maybe like 10 days, 2 weeks
Okay.
or so. We're trying to limit our runs though.
Is there a lot of shortages where you are?
There was right after the county declared a state of emergency, but things seem to be getting back to normal. There's still some things missing from, like the grocery stores in the area have obviously been hit pretty hard, but things are continuing to be restocked.
Mhm.
So it's definitely better now than it was about a week and a half ago.
That's good.
Yeah. Are you still working? What's your situation?
Yeah, so I work remote normally, so it's had virtually no impact on my job, fortunately.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Lucky.
I'm super blessed in that regard.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into the sort of main questions we're going to ask everybody. I sent them out an email earlier, so I hope you got a chance to see them.
I did.
Some recent reports have said that the coronavirus is airborne. They've discovered it's airborne. What does that mean to you? Have you seen those reports?
No, so my understanding is that it's supposed to be droplets, not aerosols. And I think media reports typically fail to distinguish between aerosol versus a droplet. So an aerosol is something that's arguably the more serious of the two because it means germs can spread further and faster. Droplet spread would be like the typical cold virus. I
Mm,
haven't heard anything about the spreading via aerosol. And I
yeah,
think it's important to draw a distinction between those two, and I haven't seen a lot of media outlets doing a very good job of that.
I think you're 100% correct. And I just happen to live with a PhD who studies aerosols. So
Yep.
that was her big sticking point yesterday. She was going nuts on Facebook with everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure
Um,
she was.
so this doesn't change. Those reports don't change your level of concern about what's going on.
No, not at all. Not unless somebody comes out with evidence that's an aerosol.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's go to our next question. Government officials, they're hinting that they're going to start officially recommending that everyone wears face mask.
Mhm.
Have you got a face mask?
Yeah, we have some masks in our garage just for some home improvement projects that we were working on, and we wore them when we went out the other day to pick up some groceries.
Have you been seeing a
Um,
lot of masks around town?
about a third of the people I've seen now were wearing some kind of mask,
Oh, a third.
Yeah,
maybe a
that's
quarter to a third.
Oh, that's a lot more than I expected.
Yeah.
yeah, it is. How do you feel about? So you have actual mask.
Yeah.
Up where we are, there are some grocery stores that are now not letting people in unless they have mask.
Wow.
But I don't know where the hell we're supposed to get the mask uh, because the home improvement stores are closed.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I guess they're just going to let people in with scarves, which I find exciting. I don't think there'll ever be another point in American history where I will be allowed to walk around with a loaded handgun and wear a balaclava. So, you got to look for the small things, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't wait to like walk around with a bandana over my face when I go out
Yeah.
in public. That's gonna be exciting.
Worst case, you get just a piece of notebook paper and tape it to the side so you can go in and buy
It's
your better
duct
mask.
tape.
Yeah.
That's right. Have you noticed any sort of stigma in your area about people not wearing masks or not having their gloves on or standing too close to people?
No, not at all. Everyone seems to be giving each other like people like like parting the Red Sea. If you like walk down a aisle in the grocery store, people give each other plenty of space. But like I said, maybe like quarter to 30 people are actually wearing masks. So
Hmm.
it's not like the norm yet.
Yeah. Well, we are up in Pennsylvania. We're ahead of the curve. We've been doing this for a while now. So,
Yeah. Are you
uh,
guys getting do you guys get dirty looks if you go out in public without masks?
oh yeah,
I do not go out in
Wow.
public anymore.
yeah,
Really?
I'm
yes,
doing like
Wow.
true quarantine. Yeah.
yeah, he is.
Uh,
Are you in New York?
no, I am just paranoid because I don't trust the reports that we're getting, and they all seem to be based on the
Uh-huh.
WHO's reports from China, who has a third of a stake investment in them almost, I think, from what I heard, uh,
Yeah.
and a penchant for cooking the books.
Yeah, I'm skeptical about the data trends that
Yeah.
we're seeing out of there, frankly.
So personally, I'm giving it a month or two, and I'll see what some other countries decide is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you eating during the quarantine? You got any COVID recipes?
My spouse is cooking a brisket, smoking a brisket on the grill right now, actually.
Oh, awesome.
So he has decided he's going to become the smoker king while we're locked up.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm envious.
Yeah.
We're everyone else is eating like canned goods.
Well, it's Texas.
I know. Yeah, it's great to be down in
Pardon.
Texas. I guess
Yeah.
we don't have a barbecue restaurant near us.
Well, you just go
What?
hunt.
I'm so sorry.
None.
Oh.
But you're right. I can't just go hunt down some of the many deer around us.
I was gonna say Hannah could go hunt some wild boar.
That's true too.
Tasty.
All right. A leaked House Ways and Means Committee memo showed that some people may not be receiving their stimulus checks until the week of August 17th. They
Wow.
say that by I wrote it down, by the 13th of this month that they'll direct deposit some 60 million payments to Americans. But the question is, if you're not getting your check to the 17th of August, for you personally, how far can you go, or what would be a condition that would make you break quarantine and start really rejecting all of the social distancing guidelines and start trying to force your way back to life as normal?
Like I said, we're both in a position where we can do our jobs remotely. So we're lucky in that regard. Honestly, it'd have to be like a zombie apocalypse type scenario before I start running around violating stay-at-home orders.
That's fair enough to me. What's one story or idea that you don't think is getting enough attention right now?
So the town Telluride in Colorado tested the entire town was tested for antibodies against coronavirus. And I believe it's the first community that's done wide scale testing. And that's going to have to be done to get good data on the spread of the virus and stuff like that. They're expanding the testing program to hotspots in, I want to say 5 or 6 cities nationwide. And that's really the only way that I think we're going to get accurate data on how fast the virus has spread, the actual rates of infection in the population, and so forth. I think what widespread testing is going to reveal is that the fatality rates of this thing aren't nearly as high as what we think it is right now. Because right now, the only people who are getting tested are people showing up with serious symptoms. So there's probably a ton of people who are dealing with it just fine, have already recovered. So I think it's going to be a net positive once we start testing more people.
Yeah. Do they have testing down in Texas? Like, can you go get a test if you wanted to?
No, so you have to meet a checklist of criteria to get tested for it. So you have to be in a high risk category or have like a checklist of symptoms. Otherwise, no dice.
Yeah, same here.
And it has like a 5-day incubation period on average?
It can be as long as 14 days, I think.
Yeah, I saw one that was like 28 days.
Wow.
Which was I mean, that's like one case that I heard about, but I don't know.
My a good friend of mine in Seattle came down with symptoms on day 13 after being exposed.
Oh, okay. So after being exposed, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask if you knew anyone, but I guess you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess our final question, what's something that you're doing, some sort of activity? What are you watching? How are you passing the time during this lockdown?
Just a lot of little projects around the house, gardening. We're doing a big vegetable garden this year. Also, I might finally start working on that novel I've been meaning to tackle. We're watching The Witcher and The Expanse right now, both a great series.
Oh, I like The Witcher. I thought The Witcher was great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
All right. Well, great. That was all the questions. Thank you, Hannah.
Wait, could I ask one more question?
Sure thing.
I'll allow it.
Is Joe Exotic guilty?
Oh, that is a tough one. I gotta say no to that. I think they were looking for anything to nab him on, and because he's always big fat.
Awesome.
I agree. Maybe that's what we should all do with our lockdown time is start a campaign to free Joe, who has the coronavirus, by the way.
Yeah,
Cardi B is on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, thank God for Cardi B. All right, Hannah. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we'll talk again soon, and take care of yourself. Enjoy the brisket.
Take care. We will.
All right.
Yes.
Stay safe. All right. And we're going to... Well, that was a good talk.
I agree.
All right. Are we ready to bring Trey in?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Our next guest. And here we go. All right.
Hey,
hello.
Trey, can you hear us?
Are you muted? Let's see. Yes, you are muted.
There we go.
All right. Welcome to Routine Checkup, our bi-weekly show. We're checking in on everybody.
Sounds great.
So let's check in. Where are you at, and how's it going where you're at?
Yeah, I am in Chesterfield with my at my parents' home. And came up here actually to take my take-home finals. I'm at school right now, and so that's when everything happened. And so I just since rather than going back to school. So yeah, up here in the deep woods of Chesterfield.
Yeah, that's where my parents are too, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm out in Pennsylvania now, but my parents are up in Chesterfield.
Nice.
What's it like out there?
Well, our neighborhood right now is like this pretty just a lot of woods, and so
Mhm.
so I mean, like in terms of stepping outside here, I don't really sense any sort of major change of things. I'm looking outside right now, but it's nice, it's placid, going on walks and things, and people are definitely keeping their distance.
Mm.
Even walking together, people are like 6 feet apart, walking their dogs or whatever, and
Yeah.
but I've been enjoying it. It's kind of nice to kind of have this almost like a little woodland oasis.
Yeah, I wish I had some woods I could walk around in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed people, at least over here, when people are out walking their dogs, they're just walking like right in the middle of the street because there's so few people out moving around.
That makes sense actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like fewer cars too.
Yeah, and then you don't have to worry about your dog doing it in someone's yard.
Yeah.
Because the problem is everyone's home, so they'll see you.
Yeah. That's also really true.
How do you feel about everything that's going on? Do you think this is the end of days? Do you think we're gonna get through it?
I think we'll get through it. I mean, I think, only looking at China, right? Like you see that people, I mean, I have a lot of friends because I lived in China actually. And actually, I went to Wuhan like almost every weekend for a good year for work. And
Which year?
2000,
A few months ago.
yeah. But 2016, 2017. And so like all my friends who were still over there, like they were on lockdown. We're looking at their WeChat and Facebook posts being like, wow, that sucks. 8 weeks in lockdown. Thank God that's us. And here we are. And but now those same friends, due to I think a lot of the measures put in place in China, are now actually moving around the country and going to visit family and stuff. Now things are slowly beginning to get back to normal. So I mean, at least that gives hope that for one segment of the world, right, that there is some normalcy on the other side of this. And I think we'll get there too. I mean, the road might be rockier here in America and in probably different parts of America at that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not too concerned about that. Personally, starting off, like I like thrive on having people around and being, just out there and connecting in different ways. But it was rough at first, and I think also the anxiety of all the uncertainty and everything kind of like crashing down too. But I definitely have gotten in something of a groove here. I haven't really even left my room, to be honest. Like maybe for 5% of the day I'm out of this room. Uh, but I've been very productive. Actually, I just finished writing a play last night that I had been working on for 7 years, and finally set my ass down and got it done, and I feel really good about it. And I have other things in the pipeline, so I feel like you know my mind is in a pretty good place. And also, like on a side note, this is a story for a different time. Like I feel a little practice in isolation. Like so, when I last left China, well, when I was forced to leave China, uh, I had been like lack of a better phrase, uh, held for ransom by local police in our city. So they detained me and a coworker for 3.5 weeks in a Chinese prison until our company paid the money to get us out. And so like I was like, that was great practice for this. Like at least here I have like TV and computers and like shit to do. So
How are you so fucking upbeat when you have this horrible dark past with China? You were in a Chinese prison for 3 weeks being held for ransom?
basically,
What
yeah,
were you doing
yeah.
over there?
I was a school director, and then I was on the corporate side doing franchise work for our company, and it's like lo and behold, it's not that uncommon that the police went around and took us in, and what was supposed to be like a little 2 to 3 day, like we'll hold you for this long, the company will release you, and then all things like water under the bridge ended up being like completely fucked because some, like my coworker learned about the bribes over a phone call in the prison. The prison began investigating the police, and like a whole thing like blew up from there. And so like, yeah, like it's
But so what were you accused of? What was why did they arrest you?
Yeah, what was the whole like hold you for a day or
yeah.
two? What is even like the charge? Do they need a charge?
So what happened was that China had at that point in time changed their visa laws, and so if you know about working in China, I would say roughly 75 to 85% of all foreigners in China are not working like under the exact type of visa that they should be on when they're over there. It is an open secret. And,
Mm-hmm.
and so the police took us in and they were like, we want to make sure you guys are all on this, like on on the right visa or on your way to getting there. And so they weren't like, they also said that, hey, we also understand that no one's on the right visa, but we want to make sure you guys get to that point. And then from there, it kind of like they released some of us and kept two of us, even though like we all have the same visa type. And we learned that it was because we were the most senior in the company. They could probably get more money from having us there. And so that was that. And you know, it sucked for sure, but it was also, I mean, like all things.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, but like, you know, I think in all things in life, there were a lot of gifts that I gained from that experience, a lot of insight into who I am as a person and humanity and all that kind of stuff too. And, you know, and it definitely triggered a lot of like creative, you know, power and ability. And so I think now coming from that into this experience here, which is, you know, fairly analogous in some ways, you know, I think that I'm used to the isolation, and now there's a bit more positivity. I mean, not regarding the threat of global pandemic and plague, but but like there's a bit more flexibility.
Yeah,
in,
finally going back to the United States where I can be free
yeah, no, exactly.
to stay in my
Wow.
house.
In a way, you're actually being locked up by Chinese authorities again. So that must be fun.
Oh, this is actually funny. That's actually very true.
Yeah. All right. Well, I didn't expect you to have spent time in a Chinese prison, so
Yeah.
we blew through our time here. So let me ask you our questions real quick.
Yeah, lightning
Yeah.
round.
Your thought on them.
Also, pleasure calling me, by the way.
Oh, am I? Oh, sorry. I have I switched to a dumb phone a while ago, and now pocket dials are a thing again. So I sat on my phone.
Oh,
That was
sorry.
my mistake.
All good.
All right. So some new reports have suggested that the virus is airborne. What does that mean to you? And does it make you more nervous about it, or what?
I mean, I feel like it's just more information. I feel like I was just probably expecting that that was always the case, or it was going to become the case. So it doesn't really alter too dramatically how I feel about it. I also limit myself going into public anyway.
Mhm.
And when I do, it's like, you know, bare essentials and making sure that I am trying to avoid, you know, being around anybody.
Yeah.
So at the same time, I feel like, you know, there's a certain amount of give I have to give. You know, I can't
Yeah.
get too wrapped up in all the possibilities and probabilities. You know, it's just a matter of the best I can and be smart.
Right. All right. Government is starting to hint that they're going to make an official recommendation that everyone wears masks.
Yeah.
Have you got any masks?
I don't. I was looking to see if I had any from my time in China, but I probably will try to order or make some. I know that the orders are probably a bit backlogged right now, but I'll try to at least figure something out.
Yeah. All right. Have you experienced any? I guess you haven't really. Have you gone to the grocery store since it started?
Yeah, I was in Walmart 2 days ago.
Where the Walmarts around here, when have driven by, have just been the entire parking lot is full.
Yeah, even up here, we're getting into our 4th week of a quarantine, like a stay at home, do not leave, police enforcement sort of quarantine.
Yeah.
And even our Walmarts, it's just like everything is normal.
Is there stuff that's
out?
out?
You go inside. There's people standing on top of each other. There's no plexiglass.
Right.
So.
Is there stuff that's out of stock at the Walmart that you go to?
Well, so I only went in to get bananas and tomatoes at my mother's request, and so I didn't really go back. Like those are all fine. Vegetables are all good. I didn't go where else. I'm sure that there were things that were out of stock. And when I was in self checkout, you know, I had walked out of self checkout, and then immediately, maybe like 30, 40 feet behind me, I hear some guy like just like coughing, and I was like,
"I'm out of here."
Time to get the hell out of there. Yeah. All right. Our last question here. There's a leaked House and Ways Committee memo that indicates that some people wouldn't be getting their stimulus checks until August 17th.
Yeah.
They do say that on April 13th, they're going to be releasing about 60 million direct payments. But my question for you is, if you had to wait until August 17th to get any money, or if there's some other circumstance that would cause you to say, fuck it, and try and go back to living your life as it was.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I'll probably will be one of those August checks because I don't think I have direct deposit set up with the IRS. But also right now I'm a student, and so it's like, you know, I'm also like on scholarship and loans, and so at least for that sense, like I have some sort of I guess like safety net because I just got a lump sum of student loans. But that's going to last for maybe like the next 5 weeks. But then also one thing too is that to that point, um, for graduate students, especially students who are in business school and I think also law schools, that these schools built in the program is having a summer internship.
Mm-hmm.
And the summer internship, of course, is for you to get experience in a sector that you want to work in eventually, but also for you to get money to finance and fund your time in business school,
Right.
so you get salary. And so a lot of internships have been canceled as a result of the economic fallout of COVID-19. And I'm fortunate that mine has not been, and that my company has told me that they are going to come hell or high water, make sure that we all work this summer,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's remote or whatever. And so, like, I think that I'm very fortunate in that I have those types of structures in place to kind of allow me to remain in quarantine. Like if I did not, I would need to go out somewhere and find somewhere to work or support myself or do something.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the only thing that will make me break quarantine is if like just dire emergencies, or like if there were treatments, or if there were antibody tests and it comes out that actually I've already had it, and
Yeah.
and so I think like those things, sure. But barring that, I don't really see any other situation when I would.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Trey. One last question before you go.
Yeah.
Is Joe Exotic guilty?
I will say this: I haven't seen it yet. I know I'm
Okay.
behind that. However, one of my really good friends, one of my closest friends, is prosecuting that case, and
Oh,
and they told me about it in December. And from all accounts, from their telling of it, this guy is guilty as hell, at least of the tiger related stuff.
well, all right. Oh, yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Well, yeah. Watch
Well,
the
I'm glad the
documentary.
prosecutor thought he was guilty. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All right.
thanks for joining us.
Thank
Trey.
you for joining us.
Yeah.
We'll
See you
talk
guys
to you
soon.
on the next one.
See ya.
Sounds great. See you guys.
All right. So
All
far, of everyone we talked to, I seem to be the only one who is getting ready to break quarantine, try and find a scab and start working somewhere.
Yeah.
That's fun.
All right. We ready to bring Ryan in?
Yes, bring Ryan in.
All right.
Ryan, can you hear us?
Ryan, can you hear us? Uh-oh. Technical difficulties.
Oh, hey. That's the modern world, huh?
Yeah. Hey, well,
Now that we all have to become robots.
Zoom is getting hacked. Oh, this gives me a chance that I can.
Oh, that's true. Good time for a water break.
Yeah,
Water. It's good for you.
definitely.
How do anybody hear me?
Oh, we can hear you. Is your video not working?
Well, this is my first time using it. I'm pressing.
Oh, okay. There you are. Hello.
Oh, hey.
Welcome
Hi.
to the show.
Indeed.
Loving the beard. Good color. Good
Well,
thickness.
It is
Copper
very.
is a good one.
Yeah, it
I've
looks
had
very
that.
familiar.
Yeah.
It's as if I've had one since middle school.
Yeah. Well, can you see us on the screen?
Yes. Well, sort of. I can see shapes.
Oh, okay. Jacob
Vague,
has
small screen.
almost the exact same beard.
Yeah.
Just much more wild. I've officially decided I'm not doing anything to it. I did trim my mustache so I could not choke to death while I'm eating my food, but I'm just going to let this thing run wild until we're all let free.
I'm not too concerned about the choking. It's more the leftover flavors. It just lingers.
Yes, I agree. Also, as I was going out through the stores, I kept having to do this because I was getting noses back in my hair, and I was like, everyone's going to freak out.
I
As they
had
should.
I had just a mustache for a while because I was putting on the face mask and I had to shave all around. And you can tell how long it's been since I've been out by the amount of facial hair that's grown in.
Yeah. So Ryan, you're also here in Pennsylvania, right?
Sure am.
You're on the opposite side of the state for me. You're over in the Pittsburgh area.
I think I'm north of you. Yeah, I'm in Pike County in the very far northeast.
Oh, you
yeah,
moved.
that's right.
I thought you were near Pittsburgh.
Nope, been here for 3 years. I was in Pittsburgh in 2010,
Oh, okay.
but that's it.
How has your Pennsylvania lockdown been? When were you guys locked down? Because I'm in Bucks County. We were closed. We were one of the earlier counties to be shut down.
Yeah. The schools shut down first, and then it was some of the community centers, a lot of the activities. But beyond that, it's a pretty small, sleepy area anyway up in the Pocono Mountains. It's not a whole lot of lockdown. The
Mhm.
biggest change from the day-to-day life is like the grocery store closes a little earlier, and for whatever reason seems to have no onions at all. I haven't seen an onion in a month and a half. But
Wow.
Do you have a
We
lot
got
of
plenty of
yellow?
onions down here.
Do you have a lot of yellow spotted lizards there?
I have not seen any. Although
Okay.
there are a significant number of New York license plates that are in the neighborhood now all of a sudden.
Oh, are they
Yeah.
being detained by local police?
No, because there's no local police for the most part. But
Oh,
there are a lot of people from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, various other places coming to visit their summer homes while avoiding whatever plague may be coming
oh.
with them.
Has Bernie Sanders got a place there? I only know about his place in Champlain, but I know.
I don't know. One of his 5 or 6 summer homes are bound to be somewhere near here.
All
So
right.
how do you feel about everything that's going on? I mean, I'm sure I know you a little from the past. I'm sure you are not thrilled with what the government's doing.
Not really. No. There are certainly measures that some people have been advocating for that I'm quite glad are not happening. There are things that the Pennsylvania governor has been saying that he wants to do, but he hasn't really done. There's a lot of recommended orders, as
Mhm.
silly as that sort of thing could be said. Overall, I try to am just staying stoic, going day to day, doing what I can. There is, of course, a concern. You got to push aside at a certain point the people are sick, people are dying. It's bad, it's terrible, but it's a bad day, but it's every day, and it's you just got to keep going. And that's pretty much been my attitude, and that's the only attitude I really let myself have most days.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. All right, well let's hop into our questions.
Okay.
Some recent reports have said that coronavirus is now it's airborne. What does that mean to you? Does it change how worried you are about it, or?
Not exactly. I assumed that it would be, because the more we learned about various others, it seemed to be that way. Plus, it helps explain the tremendously fast transmission rate. It changes the argument for masks as well, but I'm sure we'll touch on that later. Basically, now, where before it was if you're coughing or sneezing, you're going to be more infectious. Now that you can have zero symptoms and just breathe near somebody, that you can be passing it on, it certainly makes it so that even if you are asymptomatic, it's probably best if you're around anyone to be wearing a mask.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I
you hit
agree
on
with
it.
that one.
Yeah. You've hit on our next topic, which is it looks like the government's going to start recommending that everyone wears a mask. Do you have mask?
I have several masks, not really so much out of a concern for this. I have
Unrelated.
yes, unrelated. I have several respirators and masks, some of which are rated for biohazard stuff, but other things I mostly just use for cleaning out coal dust and things. But they're rated high enough that it should be fairly decent protection versus virus. Plus, I live alone. I'm isolated. I'm not interacting with people very often. There are to date, I think 58 cases in my county.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too concerned, but I do have them if it comes to that.
Yeah, I was looking into back in December. I was like just reading the reports all day about what's going on in China from like the underground news sites and stuff. The stuff that got people kicked off of Twitter for false information until 2 days later the mainstream media reported the exact same thing. So I'm looking at masks and I was like, oh, I know what I can get that nobody's buying right now. A scuba tank. Perfect. If it works underwater, it'll work for me. It was like $400. And it's like, I don't know if I can afford that.
No.
I thought we were about to learn that you had a scuba tank for coronavirus.
No,
and I was gonna
I
be
wish.
very
I
excited.
wish I had. I do have the full 3M face mask with the 2 side things and a couple packs of P100
Yeah, that's
filters.
what I've got.
Yeah, mine is very related.
So, are you, Ryan? Are you out of work? Are you able to work
Well,
from home?
I'm going into work every day. No
What do you do?
change there. I'm a design engineer in a factory, and it's
Are people there worried about it?
extremely. A
Okay.
lot of people. There have been precautions that have been taken, some of which are useful, some are not. We have a shop that sells a lot of product through the internet. Anyone that is involved with receiving packages, we've got a kind of quarantine that we're putting them in. and everyone is taking precautions. Nothing's getting from place to place after it comes into the building. People are very careful about what's going out of the building. A lot of personnel are wearing masks, even those that don't really need to. There's one guy that closes the door in his office now and is spraying everything with 75% mixture of Everclear. He's a little paranoid on it, in my opinion. But whatever makes him feel better, he's at pretty low risk anyway. But other than that, it's mostly day to day. Has not changed for me.
I don't know. I think if I was the owner, I might be calling shenanigans on the guy who's closing his office door and has a spray bottle full of Everclear. I might think he's not working as hard as he should be.
I think that the fumes are definitely making his day go a little faster and easier.
Yeah, and boy, he just keeps using a lot of that Everclear.
A whole lot. I don't understand. He cleaned his phone 6 times. It's strange.
He keeps sucking on it like a toddler.
I don't even know how he's supposed to get more of it because all of our liquor stores are just closed. So
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, go on. No, please.
I was going to ask, how are the grocery stores where you are? Are they cleaned out of any products?
Aside from onions,
in particular, yeah. I was alarmed at the onions. I was very surprised.
Oh, that's right.
So many of the onions were just gone. Teriyaki sauce, mac and cheese. There's just unusual things that you wouldn't expect to be gone were gone. But beyond that, everything else has been fairly replenished.
Yeah, you really wouldn't expect teriyaki sauce to be gone right now.
I don't understand it. Plenty of soy sauce, no teriyaki. I didn't understand it.
They had to prove they're not racist.
Yeah, we got shelves and shelves of cup of noodle too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you answered your work, and so it probably doesn't affect you. But it looks like some people won't be getting their stimulus payments until August 17th. Probably doesn't affect you. But is there anything that could happen that would make you say enough's enough and start trying to go back to living life as normal?
I think a lot of people will certainly. We're going to have to find a new normal one of these days. We can't all continue to not work because for some people it's just going to be too much. The biggest part of it, and they keep saying, is that we're just trying to push it off. We're not trying to keep everyone from being infected. Millions of people are going to be infected. It's about spreading out the time zones. For me, hopefully it won't come up to it. Again, I'm at low risk, but there have been provisions put in place. There's mortgage assistance. A lot of landlords have been opening up. There are halts on student loans. There's a lot of acts that have been taken to try and kick the can further down the road for the people that can't make ends meet. But I suspect that there's going to be, before a next bioactively wave, before a mutation, I think that the next spike in cases will probably come when people can't stay at home anymore, and it might get even worse. So,
yeah, that's my thought. Pennsylvania, as you know, is gorgeous, and I'm thinking once all the green leaves start coming back in, and as we're going into a full month, month and a half of being in lockdown, that people just aren't going to be able to hold it back anymore. They're going to start trying to get out there.
Well, also there are a lot of migrational individuals, people that, we call them snowbirds and such, that go back and forth between here and Florida or various similar places. You're going to have a lot of migration that occurs. There's a lot of workers that work in migration, seasonal workers for Alaska, oil workers, etc. They're going to be shifting around and causing fresh contamination in some areas unavoidably.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess our last question as we get ready to move on. What are you watching? Is there something that you're doing to keeping you busy during this whole thing?
Somewhat. Beyond just working, I've got one screen is just playing various streams from different D&D groups, mostly Crit Roll now, and then the other screen I've got Division 2 on PS4, playing the hard mode version of the current infection. And that's about it.
Have you been playing any D&D online through Zoom or anything like that?
Yeah, well, that was one of the biggest changes, I guess, from my daily life. Is my Monday and Friday games are played in the community centers, and they're closed. But my Saturday game is online, and that's continuing on fine.
Yeah, I just got finished playing one before we did this stream. And one last question before you go.
Sure.
Is Joe Exotic guilty?
He pretty much admitted he was. He has, at least.
Well, of trying to get Carol murdered.
it's tricky to say. I think that my understanding of it, and I watched it, and I found it very boring. But he seemed to definitely want it to occur. I don't know the details enough to say one way or the other.
Okay.
I really don't.
All right. We don't have enough time to get into why you found it boring, but that is surprising to me. But
Yes, me too.
appreciate you coming on, and we will talk to you on the next episode.
Okay.
Great.
All right.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Be safe. Thanks.
Bye.
You too.
All right.
All right. You want to
And-
bring in our final guest?
Yep. Here we go. Paisley, can you
Hey.
hear us? Hello. Oh, connecting to audio. It's been taking so long for it to connect to audio.
Well, everyone's using Zoom these days. It's the hot new thing.
Yeah, well, you'd think they would have something built in where when people are in the waiting room, it would connect. Can you hear us, Paisley? Are you able to talk? Oh, still connecting.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
Hey, sorry, I was just streaming some stuff before the meeting.
Oh, no problem.
That's all right. We made you wait.
Yeah.
We had one of the people we talked to earlier spent time in a Chinese prison, and that went a little long.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I had some questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't seem to think it was that big of a deal.
No.
So welcome, Paisley. Paisley, you're in Greensboro, North Carolina, right?
Yes.
How is the quarantine going down there? You guys in a government mandated lockdown?
We are in a government mandated lockdown. Our county is slowly on the rise. I'm in Guilford County. Mecklenburg County is our highest rated confirmed cases. My next door neighbor is a nurse, and she kind of keeps me updated on the front lines. On
Does
what's
that-
going on.
Does that make you nervous that your next door neighbor's a nurse?
It actually makes me feel safer because she probably will give me the more realistic realities.
But
she-
but do you worry about what she's bringing back from work with her?
Oh, yeah, it's like a kid at daycare.
I mean, I'm genuinely, if our neighbor was a nurse or something, it might freak me out a little bit if someone who's like in a hospital dealing with people who have it.
Right. Well, she is on the older age range, so she is even more concerned than I am.
Mhm.
And she tends to become pretty overconfident on provisions, I would say.
Mhm.
When she gets home, like she puts all her clothes and separates it, constant 6 feet apart.
Mhm.
So if anything, I feel like she's giving me the honest answer of what I should be doing, versus like what I keep hearing on like news networks too.
That's true. This is an aside, but as I've been going to the grocery stores here, I've noticed when I go I only go early in the morning because there's less people there. A lot of nurses who are just wearing their scrubs in the store.
Right.
I'm assuming they're getting off of work or getting ready to go into work. But I feel like with all this stuff going on, scrubs should be something that you put on at the hospital, and when you leave the damn scrubs at the hospital.
I agree. I know she's trying to work with the hospital to try and allow showers. So it's kind of like once your shift is done, you take a shower and then you kind of have a new change of clothes.
Mhm.
I know at our Cone Health is our main frame. They're not doing that yet, but I know that she's been adamant about trying to get that started.
Mhm. Yeah, to me it seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so now we know what's going on here. I mean, so you guys are locked down. Are there enforcements of the lockdown, or how long have you been locked down?
So we had our lockdown confirmed last week. I wouldn't say that there's a huge like mandate. My husband actually drove to Virginia Beach this weekend, so he was able to do that because he wanted to see his family. So I wouldn't say it's like insane, but I'm sure it's going to get there. I know our parks have just closed all the basketball courts, all of the like swing sets and jungle gyms. So it wouldn't surprise me if it gets more and more restrictive as we keep going. I know our state parks are also closed as well.
And how do you feel? Are you freaked out by it? Do you think it's going to be all right?
I don't love it.
Me neither.
But I mean, I would prefer to flatten the curve more than anything than us having like a resurgence again 3 months later. I'd much rather get, a cure while we're all trying to stay at home, try to prevent over spreading, get a cure, and then open things back up again.
Are you and your husband able to work during this? Has anyone been unemployed from it, or?
So my job, I'm working from home. He actually got a job the week before, like, kind of the craziness happened. And they said that he is furloughed for 2 weeks, but not back to back. So he has to not work for 2 weeks, but unsure when those are, so to speak.
You said not back to back, so he won't be out for 2 weeks straight.
Right.
So they're doing it so that they don't have to pay unemployment.
Yes.
Good. Glad they're being safe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
why
that's
even
a
take them
scheme.
off? Like, why even take them
Yeah.
off?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
All right, so you might know more about this since your neighbor's a nurse, but some recent reports have said that the virus is now airborne. What does that mean to you? And does it freak you out more about what's happening, or?
It doesn't freak me out more. I definitely think there could be more things I should probably be doing. It wouldn't surprise me if the next week I start wearing a mask, going out in public. But I'm not. I'm just trying to stay at home and try not to go out as much as possible to survive and flatten the curve.
It looks like they're going to start recommending that everyone wears a mask. Do you have any masks?
I do not, but I have plenty of headband, hair ties and bandanas. So I'm planning to probably make those.
I bet you could put out stuff to it'd be kind of very messed up to do. I don't know why I even thought of this. It's just like ways to create a mask and just have people do silly stuff, like you put your dryer lint. But then I was thinking, what if you accidentally create a pretty good mask, like a layer of fabric, layer of dryer lint, layer of fabric.
I like that. It smells good too.
Yeah,
that's
make
true.
sure it's fresh.
All right. So leaked House of Ways or House means whatever the hell it is. It's a committee of the government. A memo they leaked said that some people may not be getting their stimulus check until August 17th. Does that worry you?
It doesn't surprise me. I think my biggest concern is like what's gonna happen when we file taxes next year. Will they be like, we need your $1,200 back because we gave you a check for then and then back? But I personally would like it just in terms of like debt, but I'm very fortunate right now. I'm still getting a paycheck. I am concerned for next month. I get paid monthly, so I'm more concerned for next month than anything else because they haven't really given us an idea whether or not we're gonna, get paid.
Yeah.
Have you been going out to the grocery store and stuff?
I went to Trader Joe's yesterday. Mixed bag. My biggest thing with the grocery stores, I think, is they should provide like arrows in place. Like you need to, this row you go down, this row you go up. I think that would really prevent a lot of collision and close contact.
Oh yeah. Were they out of anything? Was it seem like it was sparse in there, or are they pretty well stocked?
The one grocery store I went to, there was a guy just running around being like, they have toilet paper, they have toilet paper. Luckily, I am stocked. I am like a Sam's Club person, so I usually get like a 6-month supply like one time. And I only have 2 people, so I'm not like we need a ton of it.
Yeah. Were they doing the limiting the toilet paper, how much you could buy? I saw some places were doing that.
A lot of places had signs that were like just 2, no more than 2, which I completely understand and appreciate that.
Yeah, we're down to 1 of everything.
You can buy one roll at a time
per day. Well, one. They're only doing the 4-pack.
Well, yeah, I know. So, really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Or maybe I don't know if that's like a policy where they're not importing any more mega packs into the state, but
maybe
I've only seen the 4-packs.
Yeah.
Interesting. I feel like that's like, sounds like you'd have to go to the grocery store every day because you can't get that like 32 one-time box.
It does seem like I have to go to the grocery store every day, to be honest. What have you been eating lately? Has quarantine messed with your diet?
You got any COVID recipes?
I wish that I had like said, oh yeah. I actually just started baking things that have been in the back of my pantry. So I made a coffee cake.
Ooh, nice.
When I went to the grocery store yesterday, I bought some lemon bars. So if anything, I have a sweet tooth. But I haven't really felt like it's affected my diet. I just know that I should probably, maintain what I ate before, so I stay the weight that I was post quarantine.
Right.
It's true. Um, is there a story or a sort of idea that you don't think is getting enough attention right now?
I think there's kind of twofold. I think small businesses are not really getting answers that they need. I
That's
have
true.
a couple friends who work in there, and then my family owns a small business. And I've heard so many different things from them, whether it be the loan program. They were saying that if you are a small business, you could file unemployment and get paid back because you're not working for it. So I'm just, if anything, I just wish there were easier answers for them because it's really tough for them. And
Yeah.
then I work in the travel industry, and it's just good to know that like this is really hitting us. We're in like billions lost. We're saying it's 8 times worse than 9/11. So just like a nice little like, hey, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I've heard that with the small businesses, you could apply for the loan and you get a $10,000 advance, regardless of whether or not you get the loan, and that seems pretty good if it's true.
Yeah, I've heard that too, but my understanding is that that's what they've told everybody.
And
And
it's
when it
not
comes
gonna
time to
be-
actually execute that, they're having a hell of a time.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Right.
because I think like if it's just for applying for the loan, then you can just say, oh, I'm an LLC, I'm sole contractor, and just everyone in the whole country gets $10,000 who's willing to apply for it, basically. Because yeah, my mom has a small business, so I've been trying to look into that for her.
Yeah.
Right. And then Verizon is doing, I guess, like call outs and support. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I saw that on a commercial the other day. So I was like, you use Verizon, maybe talk to them.
Yeah. What does that mean?
What are the,
I didn't look into it too much. I just kind of forwarded on, but they were like, I think almost doing like what is it? The Publishers Clearinghouse for small businesses. Like
Oh,
going to a business and promoting them on a channel type thing. I
oh,
don't know how it.
huh?
huh.
Sorry,
Oh no, that's
I
fine. I
wasn't
just
sure if
hadn't
that
heard that.
Yeah,
was
what
like,
Verizon is doing that?
yeah. Like I said, I don't know too much of the details other than I saw this commercial. I said, "Hey, check this out," and that was kind of as much as I had gotten from that.
That's
So.
definitely something I'll look into.
Yeah. All right. Finally,
Mhm.
what are you doing to keep yourself busy during this whole lockdown?
So I started a 1,000 piece puzzle,
Nice.
and that's going slowly. um, I am reading, or I just finished watching while I was waiting for this the Love Gilda, the Gilda Radner documentary that's on Hulu. And I'm playing Animal Crossing if anyone plays that. That's fun.
Do you
I
want to give
haven't.
out your friend code?
I don't have it on hand, but
Oh,
I
okay.
would be very tempted to. So maybe next week, if this is still going on, and people seem interested. But yeah, it's luckily I feel like there's a lot of entertainment out there, and I hadn't watched it all, so I can do that or go back to it. But if anything, it makes you really appreciate the arts that you have and the things that you have access to. Because could you imagine being quarantined without internet? I think I would be like really lost.
Yeah, I got a lot of books that I could read through, and I think I have some kind of device that has music on it. But other than that, yeah, I'd probably burn through all that stuff pretty quickly.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and not to mention just how much more alone you would feel.
Yeah.
Yes. Because you can't do things like this.
Yeah,
like,
that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, I think
Oh
Clay's
yeah,
got
oh yeah.
one final question.
One last question before you go.
Okay.
Is Joe Exotic guilty
In what capacity?
with the Carol situation?
With the Carol situation. I haven't finished it all the way through. I do think that Carol Baskin should be more researched because I think she did something with her husband.
Yeah. The way
Um,
she reacted when they asked her about it, it's like, oh, come on. That's ridiculous.
it was so, yeah. She's
like,
like, so fun.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't think that you did anything before you did that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Right?
it's going to be really hard to say you didn't try and get someone murdered too when you did a whole music video about them feeding their husband to tigers.
Right. I mean, if anything, I think all of the people in that documentary have flaws and have things that they should probably be checked with the law. But I think that's what made the documentary so compelling, because it wasn't a complete one-sided story. It definitely had multiple layers and multiple views on each person, which when it comes to a good documentary, that's something I can really appreciate.
Yeah, the least bad person seems like the cocaine dealer who had someone murdered in front of him or chopped up in front of him.
Right.
Allegedly.
Right.
Yeah, allegedly.
Though
Yeah,
I
when
think
they asked him about it, he goes, well, they said I did it, and what does it fucking matter if I did it or not? They said I did it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think it matters a lot. That's fine.
Did you hear they might be releasing another episode next week?
Yes, I did hear that.
Yeah.
I did not hear that.
Yeah. So
that's the one story idea I don't think's getting enough attention. There might be more Tiger King.
Yeah. One more episode.
All right. Well, so where you are now, just real quick, guilty, not guilty on the Carol thing.
Carol's guilty.
No, is Joe guilty of trying to get her murdered? Just where you are in the documentary right now.
I would say he probably is guilty to some capacity. I mean, he put snakes in her mailbox.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, he already tried to kill her. He put poisonous snakes in her mailbox.
Yeah, and then like flying over the helicopter and saying that he was gonna just
drop
bomb
grenades.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, if anything, like, yes, we have free speech, but I'm sure that there's something there.
Well, it certainly doesn't help your defense.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you, Paisley.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you on the next one.
You guys next week, hopefully.
Yeah. Right? Enjoy Animal Crossing.
Yes. And I'll tell you more about it next week.
All right. Stay safe.
All right. Bye.
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 All right.
What do we learn, bud?
Well, we learned that I know someone who was in jail in China.
Yeah.
We learned. Wait, she said she had another story, the Verizon thing. That was because we asked about what was like a story that wasn't getting enough attention, and she talked about the small business loans. But then I was like, I didn't know Verizon's going around handing out giant novelty-sized checks.
I didn't know that either. My phone company is giving everyone free data until this is over.
Well, and another thing that we learned is that I am the most paranoid, conspiracy-minded person amongst the people that I know. I
learned that I'm the only one who's even thinking about trying to get out of this and return to normal life. Everyone else is cool just to hang out forever.
Yeah, so as long as we're both occupying opposite ends of that spectrum.
Yeah. Well, that's why we can host it.
Yeah, we call it we're the fence posts.
Yep. Well, I thought it went well, and thanks if you watched this. And
if you watched or if you listened to the podcast, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.